Um, so I guess my first question would be just you've obviously been a missionary for a very long time. And
30 years.
yes, I saw that. I saw that. First to Honduras and then to Spain. So, what is your current role right now in Spain?
Right now, we're professors at the Spain Assemblies of God Seminary. That's one of our jobs. And we also are directors of a Europe-wide ministry called Europe's Children
Hmm.
that we were asked to take that over last year. And we're also in leadership here. I'm the treasurer and Steve is the field moderator for the Spain missionary body. There's about 30, between 35 and 40 units on
Oh,
this field.
wow.
Let's see, I guess that's oh, and we do help with a local church. We are real involved
Hmm.
in coordinating like the kids ministry we have students that go there, so we help coordinate the students from the seminary that go out to that particular school.
Oh,
So just a
wow.
little this, a little that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So going back to your move from Honduras to Spain, from that experience, what advice can you give to those in leadership who are like going through a transition?
I think for us, at least for me, it was a very hard move. It was one that if we had not known that God was calling us, we would never have left. Yes, and I still get emotional because I loved Honduras, still do. But I think just being open to know that wherever He calls, there's a purpose. And I can see, when we first got to Spain, we didn't know. We knew like two people in this whole country, and we didn't know any of the leadership, and you were just really starting at zero. But you have
Hmm.
to think it's not about us, it's about whatever. There must be a purpose that God can see that we can't see. And we were very upfront with our kids, from the very beginning. We talked to them because we knew Matthew would be the only one that would be coming with us.
Hmm.
And then when we got here, we started at zero, but we had to know that, Lord, if you brought us here and it has to do with kids ministry, you're going to open up a door. I think just being persistent, and especially in this country and probably a lot of Europe, things just go so much slower. Like you can come in and say, I want to do this and that, and they just look at you and just kind of shake their head like that,
Hmm.
And we went to the superintendent of the Assemblies of God here within the first month and shared our vision about wanting to work with kids in an apartment, and it wasn't until la actually this year in February they approved an apartment, a children's department for the Assemblies of God,
Wow.
and this was 9 years after we got here. Not that it was all dependent on us, but that's how slow it just like was forever. And
Hmm.
hopefully now there'll be a little more. And Steve is on the committee. There'll be more progression
Hmm.
toward kids ministry, and we have seen like they had a Skype yesterday, and you can see that there are things that they're starting to move again. It just takes so much longer for things to get going.
Hmm.
But that was probably one thing. Another thing that was really essential for us was we promoted missions in King's Castle always from the
Hmm.
first day.
Hmm.
It was one of our fundamentals, and we told the kids that we were actually a product of what we've been preaching. That if God had called us, that that we were going to be faithful, and that they had to be faithful.
Hmm.
And 2 weeks ago, when they had the World Missions Congress, was actually here in Madrid,
Hmm.
we got to see a lot of Honduran Castle kids, and they're in Macedonia, they're in Tunisia,
Uh-huh.
one of them is going to Budapest in
Wow.
Hungary. Another one is in Nicaragua. So and another one that wasn't here, she's in Egypt, and another one just got here to Spain. And to see them, that it was just so encouraging because those kids were product of Castle Ministry, and I think that those seeds of missions was planted in their heart
Hmm.
years ago, and finally people are starting to kind of move
Right.
out.
Right. That's awesome. Well, you were right there kind of at the start of King's Castle, right?
We started it in Honduras. Don Don Triplett had just began starting Castle in 1989, and we actually had got to Costa Rica for language school, and he started it there in 88, 89. And then when his wife graduated from language school in 89, they went to to Salvador and started it. And when we got to Honduras in 90, we had asked, could we do that in Honduras? And he was, of course, was open to that. So we started it when we got there in 90 with a group of young people from a local church, a great group of young people from a local church.
So can you kind of like go through that process of like having that dream of seeing that take place in Honduras and like how it actually came to be?
Well, we didn't. Well, we knew that we wanted to work with kids, and we knew we wanted to be in Honduras. If like that was the Lord had opened that door, and we'd had an invitation, but how we had no clue. We really didn't know, and we didn't have a whole lot of experience in kids ministry. Steve had worked with Brother Jim at the church, and had seen him, and I'd worked in just teaching Sunday school and helping in bus ministry while I was in college, and then I went as an intern to Africa one summer and worked with kids, but to say like we'd been kids pastors and we had all this experience, we really didn't have experience. We went as missionaries in training. So when we got to language school and we saw what that Don Triplett was trying to promote, this kids ministry thing, we thought, well, maybe we could do that. So since we were missionary trainings, we worked under another missionary, and we went to him. And what he did was he opened the door for us to work in the Latin American child care schools because he was the director at the time, which I think it's now called. It's called. It's not called that. They've changed the name of that. Something Hope, I think. Child or One Child or something. Anyway, so we worked with kids ministry in the local in the LACC schools, but we started forming those groups, and we did call them Castle, and just started training throughout. And then when we came back as full appointed, I mean, things really began to move forward. What we did is we started, at the local church level. We trained the young people to work with the kids, and then we were blessed with some of the, just incredible Hondurans that worked with us. Some of them are still on staff there now, but they were so committed to that ministry and so committed to really ministering to kids. So I think the most important thing was just, we always say that we built slow, but we tried to build on a firm foundation. We tried to I think part of our thing is just trying to be kind of like, spiritual mentors, and just love on people and let them know that they're wanted, and try to take time with everybody. And I think because of that, they felt loved, and what they were doing was profitable. And God just began to multiply, one team, and then they started forming. We had a board, and we just started forming like departments where we had people overseeing it. It just continued to grow, and of course, then we built the camp, and that just exploded into different meetings. But a lot of it, the Lord gave us insight, but a lot of it, I think, was just having some good Honduran leadership.
That's awesome. So you said that you didn't really have a lot of children's ministry experience. So what is one thing that you wish someone had told you when you first became a missionary, when you first entered that realm of leadership?
I think, what happened too for us, at least because we were MITs and we did have a missionary over us, when we got to the country, there was one other missionary in the capital who was our mentor, and within about 3 months they left the field. So we were the only ones there. And I think it would have been good, and maybe people said it, we just weren't aware that the good thing was we didn't have anyone else, so we all of our friends were Hondurans. But then the bad thing was, I think as a woman, at least for me, was not having a girl unit, someone,
Mm-hmm.
girls that I could share my life with. And the Lord opened up for me after the first year. I found out about an English speaking women's Bible study,
Oh,
and
wow.
I got very involved in it. So every week I was with this group of women. So for me, I needed that. I think a lot of us go into missions thinking that we're going to work with nationals and this
Mm-hmm.
is everything, but I think you're still American, and you still need that, that at least for women, you
Mm-hmm.
need that woman, you need that woman's
Right.
touch, you need
Right.
friendship.
Right. Oh,
Hey,
there we go.
it's probably our wonderful internet here. Seriously.
So the last thing I heard
So
you.
that we have an Apple TV, and sometimes we can't even watch it because the connection is so bad.
Uh, so the last thing I heard you say was just like the need to have women around you and stuff.
I do, yeah. That for me at least, it was important. Maybe for guys, it's not, but for me, it was important to have friendships.
Mhm. Mhm. Um so then kind of along with that, like what do you do to maintain a healthy personal life? Like your relationship with God and not being like just about ministry but having that personal
Hmm.
time and your relationship with your family and stuff.
Well, for me, I've always been an early morning person. So I get up early, usually anywhere between 5 and 6, and I have my quiet time. And kind of going back again to the women's thing,
Mhm.
I got involved in a Bible study. Even in Evangel, I always went to those Beth Nice things.
Uh-huh.
And so when I got here, actually, I started looking and I found a group of ladies that did do, and I prefer to do it in my first language. So
Mhm.
I
Right.
did a couple of times did a study together with some ladies in Madrid. And when I got here at the seminary, there's another missionary she's from Puerto Rico who speaks, of course, really good English. And